Shalom, shalom, peace and blessings, peace and blessings. It's your man, Prince Moshe, your host with the most. Hey, like, share, and subscribe. Hey, this is another Midnight Chronicles. Hey, look. The Bible say that, that Jacob wrestled with an angel, right? So, I often wondered, who was that angel he was wrestling with? You know what I'm saying? I always wondered. And, as I began to ponder and think about, on the scriptures and think about who he was wrestling with, this is a possibility that he was wrestling with the devil. The devil's an angel, right? Right? The morning star, right? So, Paul goes on to say that we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, spiritual wickedness, and authorities in high places, right? Hey, look. Hey, check it out. Job wrestled with who? You know what I'm saying? With Satan, right? So, Jacob wrestled with the angel all night long until he popped his hip out of place and you know what I'm saying, he got a new walk. You know what I mean? See, sometimes we gotta wrestle with the devil in order to change our walk. You understand me? So it's just like Job, man. He had everything that a man could ask for. You know what I mean? And it was taken from him. Because the Most High, he gonna test you before he bless you. You see, and you gotta understand this, that the scriptures say that the Most High addeth riches to you, and they come without sorrows. I can't quote it verbatim, but I know you. If you know, you know. So Jacob wrestled with Satan, man. He was wrestling with the angel. You know what I mean? And he said, I ain't gonna turn you loose until you bless me. You know what I mean? Because remember when Hamashiach in Matthew 4:4 went into the wilderness, he was wrestling with Satan, right? He was wrestling with the devil, right? And the devil told him, he said, hey man, look, you know what I'm saying? Turn these stones into bread. And he said, man should not man should not live by bread alone, but by every word that cometh out of the mouth of the Most High Yahweh. You can find that in Deuteronomy 8, and I think it's 8:8, somewhere around there. It's the 8th chapter. Then he went up a little bit higher. You know what I'm saying? He said, well, if you be the Son of God, throw yourself off of this mountain, and a legion of angels catch you and keep you from stumping your foot against a stone, right? And he was like, again, he said that, the word says, how he said, you shall not tempt the Lord thy God. That's also in Deuteronomy. You know what I'm saying? And then he took him up higher, and he said, see all this that you have, all this that you see, if you just bow down and worship me, I'll give it all to you. And he was like, he rebuked Satan and told him, flee from me, because he already knew that everything, because, the Most High Yahweh in the beginning gave Adam dominion over the earth and everything in the earth, over the animals of it, over everything. So he already knew what his authority. You see what I'm saying? And so you have to wrestle with the devil in order to receive the blessings of the Most High Yahweh. You have to go through Satan. You have to go through him. You see what I'm saying? But a lot of y'all ain't receiving the blessings that are the things that the Most High Yahweh has for you, because you're not willing to go through. You're not willing to wrestle with the devil. You see what I'm saying? You're not willing to wrestle with the devil like Jacob. You're not willing to wrestle with the devil like Job. You're not willing to wrestle with the devil, you know what I mean, like Hamashiach. You're not willing to give up, the pleasures of this life. You're not willing to give up sin. So, yeah, it's a lot of people in this world that do have riches, that do have, everything that a man can want. But at what cost? What cost? What did it cost them? Or who did it cost? You see what I'm saying? Because, see, a lot of times what they don't tell you is that, how they got that wealth is they sacrificed something, whether it was a loved one, whether it was a friend, whatever the case it may be. You see what I'm saying? They say that's why we wonder sometimes, like when we see an innocent child be unalived, and we be like, oh, that is so sad. You know what I'm saying? But you don't know that their parents or their grandparents or somebody in their family, you know what I'm saying, made a covenant with the devil, you know what I'm saying, for those riches. You see what I'm saying? To get to that point in life. You see what I'm saying? And that's why that innocent child had to die. I mean, so look at Kanye West. You know what I'm saying? How he came out and said that he had to sacrifice his mother. And a lot of these artists in the industry did that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, look at Will Smith, the things he had to sacrifice. 6 Degrees from Separation. Go watch that movie. You know what I'm saying? Look at his son. You know what I'm saying? Jaden. You know what I'm saying? The things that you have to sacrifice to in order to maintain or to garner those riches. You see what I'm saying? Because they didn't wrestle with the devil. You see what I'm saying? They made a contract with the devil. They bowed to the devil. See, a lot of people would say that Jacob was a supplanter, but Jacob was not a supplanter. You know what I mean? Because the prophecy was that the oldest would serve the youngest. You see what I'm saying? All of us have our ways. You see what I'm saying? All have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. So, when they say he was a supplanter, you know what I mean? He stole the blessing. He didn't steal the blessing. But what I'm trying to say is that there came a time in his life, you know what I mean, to where, his name was Jacob. It changed from Jacob to Israel. Because anytime that the Most High Yahweh is going to do something with you, he changes your name. You see what I'm saying? Because that's why he say, Esau, Jacob have I loved and Esau have I hated. You see what I'm saying? And a lot of times when you read in the scriptures and you hear him call him Jacob, he's calling him Jacob because he was operating in his old ways. Because us being his children of his lineage, you see what I'm saying? We were reverting back to our old ways when we used to do things that wasn't acceptable. You see what I'm saying? According to the scriptures. So Jacob wrestled, with the angel. You see what I'm saying? Jacob, it's like some of us, we fighting addictions. You know what I'm saying? Some of us, money is an addiction. Sex is an addiction. Drugs is an addiction. Power, greed, it's all an addiction. These things are addiction. These are the things that we are battling. You see what I'm saying? So those are the things that we're wrestling with. The spirits that we're wrestling with, which, in so many ways, you could say that it's from Satan, from the devil. Because remember, a third of the angels, fell with the devil. So if he be the chief angel, he's basically, navigating and telling them what to do. They know their assignments. It's ranks in the heavens, just like it's ranks here on the earth. You know what I'm saying? Just like when you when you look at the army, in the army, you have 5-star general, 4-star, 3-star. You got captain, you got lieutenant, you got sergeant. You know what I mean? And that's the same way in heaven. You got angels, certain angels that are higher than certain angels. You got regular angels, you got, uh uh archangels, cherubims, seraphims. You got different type ranks of angels. You see what I'm saying? Because as above, so below. You see? So you have to understand that Jacob wrestled with the devil. He wrestled with Satan. Job was wrestling with Satan. Leviathan, he was wrestling with those spirits. He was wrestling with, the great serpent. You know what I mean? Leviathan. He was wrestling with those things. See, a lot of you aren't willing. See, Hamashiach, it's a part of the initiation. See, you have to go through the devil for the initiation. Being out here in the wilderness is an initiation, because the Most High Yahuwah is not going to allow you to get into the kingdom of heaven or get into the promised land without a fight. But see, some of us are not willing to fight for what for our life. Some of us are not willing to give up our life to gain it. We're not willing to lose our life to gain it. But see, we steadily trying to gain our life, but we losing it. It say all this is in the scriptures. See, a lot of people, they don't want to wrestle with the devil, so they bow to him. You see, but Jacob wrestled with Satan, and it say he wrestled with him all night. You know what I'm saying? Which basically means that he wrestled with him for a long time. Some of us have been wrestling with the devil for a long time. Some of us 20 years, some of us 30 years, some of us all our lives have been wrestling with the devil. But until you surrender, you see, you gotta be willing to pop your leg, your hip out of joint and get a different walk. You see what I'm saying? In order to experience the things of the Most High Yahweh. See, a lot of us is not willing to do that. You know what I'm saying? See, a lot of us, we love complacency. We love to be comfortable. You know what I mean? Jacob was uncomfortable. He was outside, sleeping outside. In fact, after he, wrestled with the angel, he laid his head on a rock, I think, and no, that's when he had a dream. But he made an altar there. You see? So, a lot of times we be wrestling. We don't understand who we wrestling with. You know what I mean? And you wrestling with the devil, whether it be his underlings or whatever you want to call it. You see what I'm saying? And, you just got to keep the faith and ask for strength. You see what I'm saying? Because it's only going to be the Most High that's going to get you through. But I'm just saying that, it dawned on me, tonight, I'm looking at it, and Jacob wrestled with an angel. Who was that angel? Job. He wrestled with the angel. The Satan came before the sons of God came before Yahuwah, and he said, "Have you considered my servant Job?" You see, Hamashiach, when he came and he went into the wilderness, he wrestled with the devil. But see, a lot of us is trying to wrestle the devil within our flesh, but you can't do it. It's not by might nor by power, but by his spirit. See, it's only through the word that you can wrestle with the devil. It's no other way. You can't beat him no other way unless it's with the word. You see what I'm saying? You got to understand that no weapon formed against you shall prosper. You got to understand that the request of the Most High, yea and amen. You see, you got to understand, when the enemy come in like a flood, he going to lift up a standard against them. You see, you got to be able to stand on the word of God. And a lot of you ain't a lot of people profess him with their mouths, but their hearts are far from him, because at the first sign of trouble, they gone. That's why he gave us the parable about the man who had seed, and some fell on the ground, some fell on amongst thorns, and some fell on good ground. And those are the stages that you go through. You see what I'm saying? You know, the cares of this world choked him out and he gave up. You know what I mean? But the ones fell on good ground was the ones that you kept tilling. You keep pushing, you keep going. And that's what Jacob did. He wrestled with him all night. You know what I'm saying? Hey, welcome to the Midnight Chronicles. You hear me? He wrestled with the devil. I'ma wrestle with him. You know what I'm saying? What? Until I pin him to the mat. You know what I'm saying? I'ma wrestle with him. You hear me? See, a lot of us, we not willing to be uncomfortable, but we want the blessings of the Most High Yahweh. We want the blessings, but we don't want the testing. You know what I mean? We want the promises, but we don't want the problems. You know what I'm saying? And then, you know what I'm saying, we want to try to ride off of somebody else's coattail, off somebody else's sacrifice. You know what I'm saying? Because we too lazy. You're lazy. That's what it is. That's why he said in Proverbs that, you know what I'm saying, he walked past a bush, a little folding of the hands, and some, and you just got to go read Proverbs, man. Matter of fact, I'm going to put it in the description because